You're looking for a brand new summer fragrance. You go to your nearest fragrance department store and spray on one that you've seen everybody talk about. Louis Vuitton.
Afternoon swim.
Afternoon swim.
Afternoon swim.
Afternoon swim. Afternoon swim.
Afternoon swim.
Afternoon swim.
So you buy it right there and then. You start wearing it and start to wonder why no one is giving you compliments. Surely people would like how this smells on me, right? You've just fallen for the fresh fragrance trap. A lot of the times these fresh and summery fragrances will smell amazing, but have the performance of an 85-year-old man in bed. To make sure you never make this mistake or never make this mistake again, here are 8 10 out of 10 fresh fragrances that last over 8 hours. Because sure, a fragrance like Afternoon Swim might be a 10 out of 10 in terms of just smell, but it lasts 3 hours. What's the freaking point? A lot of people will try and convince you that smell is the only thing that matters when it comes to fragrance, but my honest opinion is that performance is just as important as how a fragrance smells. Because sure, Afternoon Swim might be a 10 out of 10 in terms of smell alone, but the fact it lasts just 3 hours on skin, to me, makes it almost worthless wearing. Up first is one of the most hyped up summer fragrances in the fragrance community right now, but honestly, for really good reason. It is Ex Nihilo's Blue Talisman. Scent-wise, a lot of people love this fragrance more than me. To be completely honest, it is not my style of scent, but the performance alone makes this worthy of being a 10 out of 10. Even for me, I wear this all the time just because it is so strong and such a mass appealing fragrance. It has a really interesting pear note. To me, it's a fruity, almost tropical soapy fragrance. It doesn't necessarily smell tropical, but when I smell it and when I wear it, it kind of makes me think I'm on like a tropical island in Fiji or some other vacation spot. I get a good 7 to 8 hours of projection with this, and it's actually a skin scent up right to that 10-hour mark. So for a summer freshie, you definitely get your money's worth when it comes to performance. And when you're spending this amount of money, unlike Afternoon Swim, you definitely get your money's worth in terms of the performance. What am I even saying right now? In terms of the performance, yeah. When I wore this for the first time, I was actually going to the gym, and when I walked downstairs to my living room, my mum was there, and she said the fragrance smelled very lemony to her, which I thought was interesting, but what was even more interesting is she was on the other side of the freaking room. There are not many summer fragrances that have that type of projection. I'm talking at least 3 arms lengths away from me. That's how far she was. Onto the cheaper side of things, but still a 10 out of 10 fragrance in my opinion in terms of smell, quality, performance, and just everything, honestly, is the brand new Rasasi Hawas Tropical edition. At the time of posting this video, I assumed that this fragrance is out. I was actually gifted this by someone in Dubai. It wasn't the owner of Rasasi. It was someone that is part of the Rasasi family. I think he was like a cousin or something. He honestly just wanted me to try it. I got excited, and I posted it on my TikTok a little early. And then the owner of Rasasi contacted me and said, please take the video down. That was awkward. But yeah, I've never worked with Rasasi. I don't really know Rasasi very well. That was just such a funny moment because the video blew up. It had 300k views in 2 hours. And then I got a text from a number I'd never seen saying, you know, this video can't be up anymore. But with that being said, I assume I'm allowed to talk about it now. It smells like Jean-Paul Gaultier's Paradise Gardens, but truthfully, I think they've improved the DNA. It still keeps the slightly minty, herbal coconut feel of Paradise Gardens, but to my nose, it smells less synthetic and definitely has a more vanilla, gourmand element to it. Genuinely, if I could keep either this or Paradise Gardens for life, just smell alone, I am taking this because they cooked here. They really, really did. And I haven't got to the performance yet. Just wait, just wait. Both of these fragrances are honestly really, really strong and they smell great. But I do think Hawas Tropical could be a little stronger and longer lasting. To be honest, I haven't directly tested them side by side or anything like that. I really just can't be bothered, but I've worn these both a lot now and they're both just very strong. You know, I can't definitively say that one is stronger or longer lasting than the other, but what I can say is you're not going to complain about the performance of either of these fragrances. Yeah, that's just smooth, man. I recently checked my YouTube analytics and only around 23% of people that regularly watch this channel are subscribed. And that did make me tear up a little bit and die inside a bit. Basically what I'm trying to say is if you're a part of the 77% that aren't subscribed, it would mean a ton if you could click that button right now. It's totally free, but it helps me out a lot. This might be cheating, but at the number 6 spot, I'm doing a 2-for-1. 2 Club de Nuits, both perfect for the summer, and they're just really good in terms of both smell and performance and price. Club de Nuit Iconic and Milestone. If I could keep just one for life though, I am choosing Iconic. This is their take, our Muff's take on no. What phrase? Bleu de Chanel. There it is. That is what it is. I own the Parfum version of Bleu de Chanel, and that one is more earthy and spicy, and I will say I do think it smells much higher quality than this fragrance, but if you want to smell like the EDT or the EDP version of Bleu de Chanel on a budget, this gets like 80-85% close. It's definitely harsher, it's definitely more in your face. The opening is not very smooth at all, but maybe you're a young man, you're on a budget, you want a back-to-school signature scent. I think something like this would honestly be perfect for you, especially if you're a more active kind of high school or college student. I think this fragrance could make for a fantastic signature scent. Milestone is inspired by why am I
12 seconds later.
Creed Millésime Imperial. I always forget what this one is inspired by. This is a really interesting fragrance. I definitely recommend smelling the actual real Creed before buying this, because although this is very cheap, a lot of people are not going to like how this smells. It's a really interesting kind of salty marine fragrance that has kind of a creamy watermelon feel to it as well. It's really nothing like anything I've ever smelled, well, except for the Creed that it's duping, but it's pretty unique. It's pretty unique. I get about 10 hours of longevity with Milestone, and around 7 to 8 hours of longevity with Iconic, but the bottom line is, in terms of smell and performance, I'd be surprised if you'd be disappointed in either two. I can't speak today. They're both just really good though. Moving back up to the more expensive price point, we have SHL's God of Fire. This actually might be the most hyped up fragrance right now in this entire video, but for very good reason. A fun fact about me is I've owned 4 dupes of God of Fire before I even tried and purchased the real thing, which is just weird. It's just weird. Out of all the dupes I own though, I will say I think Mango Ice by Golf Orchid is the best, but even that one, there's just something off about it compared to the real thing. Like, there's just a noticeable quality difference. So I will say, if you have the money, I think this is one of those fragrances where it's worth splurging and buying the real thing instead of going for one of the cheaper dupes, despite them still being very, very good. If I had to describe God of Fire in 4 words, I would say ultra realistic, juicy mango in a bottle. That's what it smells like. It is perfect for the summer. If you enjoy fruity smells that aren't particularly masculine, but it's not a feminine smell either, you will love this. Or if you're just like me and for some reason have always loved the smell, maybe the taste of mango, this fragrance was basically made for you. With that being said, this is not one of the stronger performing fragrances on this list. It's amazing in terms of smell, and it is quite long lasting, around that 8-9 hour mark. But if you want a strong projecting summer fragrance, I wouldn't say that this is gonna scratch that itch for you. I do around 7 to 8 sprays with this, so that kind of tells you what you need to know in terms of how this projects. It is pretty long lasting though, and it smells amazing. I've covered cheap, I've covered expensive, but what about something in that middle ground? A great 10 out of 10 designer summer fragrance. I have just the thing for you. YSL EDP Intense. This is kind of like the forgotten sibling in a really, really massive family. I talk about YSL EDP a lot. A lot of people will talk about YSL myself, but I think EDP Intense definitely could have a place in your collection. It is amazing and extremely underrated. It still has the fresh, clean YSL DNA. It's very masculine. Trust me, if you like EDP, I would be very surprised if you didn't like this. The main difference though is it basically strips away all or any of the sweetness in EDP from the green apple and adds in kind of a spicy, even more masculine earthiness to the scent. This is basically like a more sophisticated version of EDP. The time and occasion I imagine myself wearing this is dressed up for like a summer wedding. So it's really hot outside, but I still need a fragrance that can kind of elevate my outfit. Even if it's like a suit or something, I think this fragrance can, be at that level of a suit. It can even bring it higher up than that. It's it's just fantastic. It's very versatile. You can dress it up, you can dress it down, and I think it's just really underrated. In terms of performance, you're going to probably just scrape around that 8-hour mark with decent projection. Probably 5 to 7 sprays would be the sweet spot here. Why so why EDP? I would say sure, for most people, if you're looking to blind buy a mass appealing blue designer fragrance, probably go for that one. But if you want to kind of, you know, smell the entire range, you want something that maybe is a bit less used, Y Intense is fantastic. The strongest, more fresh and summer fragrance in my collection, and the strongest summer fragrance that I've ever tried, is this little guy here. The guy that looks like a bit of a butt plug. Anelo by Pernod Noir. This little guy here is gonna set you back about $300 to $400 just for this 30 mil? 50 mil. No, you get 50 mil for $400. Don't worry, you get a great deal. So this is a really niche brand from Switzerland. I have 2 of their fragrances, but this one is the best mango fragrance I've ever smelled. I'm sorry, God of Fire. I know I just gave you my props, but this is even better. Somehow. So I'm actually in the creation process of making my very own fragrance at the moment, and this fragrance actually inspired a lot of what my perfumer is currently working on. This has a vetiver note, which adds kind of a green herbal aspect to the fragrance. It has pineapple, it has mango, but it's kind of on the more masculine side, in my opinion. The performance, like I said, I don't know how they've done it here because it is so fresh, but it's so powerful. 12 to 14 hours of longevity, and this is like a 3 to 4 spray max type of scent. A lot of the times when I recommend expensive fragrances like this, I just go, you know, maybe get the dupe. You know, you don't have to spend this much money on the fragrance. It's not necessary. If you have the money and you want a luxury summer fragrance, this is the best one that I'm going to mention in this video. So if you're watching this right now, consider yourself put on by FB Fragrances. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. For all the brokies out there, don't worry, I still have more coming for you. Afghan 9 PM Rebel. If you like the smell of pineapple, freshly cut, juicy pineapple, this fragrance is perfect for you. Yeah, this is good. I get around 10 hours of longevity with extremely strong projection. This is like 3 sprays maximum. Any more than that, you risk suffocating both yourself and anyone that you come within a meter's contact with. To my knowledge, at least, this isn't a dupe of anything. It's an original creation by Afghan, and for an original, it's blown up. Like, a lot of the time when these kind of more dupe-based companies make an original, they don't go anywhere. But they freaking cooked with 9 PM Rebel. I actually like this more than the famous Afghan 9 PM, and I really like that fragrance, so this is saying something. I was trying to think of more ways to describe this to you guys, and I even looked at the notes online, and apparently it also has apple, caramel, woody notes. I just get straight, freshly cut pineapples, to be completely honest with you, and I have no issues with that. And if you want to smell fruity and sweet, you should have no issues with that either. I can't make a video on 10 out of 10 summer fragrances and not talk about this. It would just feel wrong. Louis Vuitton Symphony, and this, I almost want to say, has become my new favorite Louis Vuitton fragrance. Originally, it was between Pacific Chill and Le Sable's Roses. And when I first bought this, I thought, yeah, this is nice. It's just going to be another addition to my collection that I don't really wear. I was so fucking wrong, man. I was so wrong, and I'm so sorry I ever doubted you. Again, I understand the price of this one is a little bit extortionate. Here in Australia, it's around $920 for the 100 ml. And I'm not going to say it's worth it, because no fragrance, it could be made from freaking LeBron James's sperm. It could be the holy grail of fragrance, and $900 is still too much for it. But this fragrance, Symphony here, is as close as it can be to worth it for how expensive it is. I've always thought the note breakdown of Symphony is a bit misleading. Yes, I do definitely get a prominent grapefruit note, and I do kind of get that musky, powdery dry down, but I swear there's some sort of like peach candy or caramel in here as well that isn't listed in the note breakdown. It has a sparkling, effervescent type of quality to it as well. It just makes me feel so refreshed and really like brightens my mood when I wear it. I don't know how else to explain it. And yeah, the performance is great for a really fresh fragrance, especially something like this that isn't woody. It doesn't have vanilla. It's just all freshness. It lasts a long time, around 10 hours on my skin. Trust me, I wish there was a dupe or something I could show you for the people watching this that don't want to spend $900 on a fragrance, but there's just not. I mean, at least now there's no company that I know that has duped Symphony. But an honorable mention that I will give that is still a dupe of a Louis Vuitton fragrance is Rayhan Pacific Aura. And this literally came out last week, and I actually even haven't tested the performance of it, but I've just put a review up on my TikTok, and smell-wise, it's really close to Pacific Chill. So if you still want something fruity, something that smells expensive, but actually isn't expensive, this one would be worth checking out. I mean, performance probably isn't 8 hours, to be honest with you. I haven't tested it, but probably 5 hours. But it smells really good. It smells like a minty mojito. I'm sorry. I feel really bad that I can't show you a Symphony dupe, but this is the best I got. This is the best I got. That is going to wrap it up on 10 out of 10 of fresh summer fragrances that literally last all day. So you don't have to deal with an amazing smelling cologne that no one around you can smell. Because guess what? We all want compliments, whether you admit it or not. Have a great rest of your day. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It would mean a lot. And I'll catch you guys probably in like 3-4 days. I don't know. What's my upload schedule been? I think it's been pretty good. Let's 4 days.